And hello, everybody, listeners, viewers. We are excited today, man. I am. I guess you are too, but certainly me. I got the incredible Sean Kemp. Hard to track this guy down, but man, I'm glad I did. And hey, Sean, how you doing today?
Good, man. It's a beautiful day to get better, right?
that's well said, my friend. Yeah, that is really something we can all aspire to every day, man. Keep pushing forward. In fact, today, Sean, as you know, we're going to cover some really cool topics here, and really, it's sort of the top level concept is to learn more about obviously you and your background, but also how can people, folks, businesses out there, entrepreneurs, take their products and services and really elevate that above the noise so that they can sell more. It's sort of the official title here today of this episode. And I know you have a lot to bring to the table. So one of the first things I'd like to do then is simply just ask you, how did you get started and why do you do what you do?
Well, I think this is
Claim to fame, right?
this is a lesson for everybody that is probably either like about to jump ship from their job or hasn't quite gotten started in entrepreneurship, or maybe even hasn't gotten the traction yet that they've wanted as an entrepreneur. But I'll share just a really quick story about my background, how I got started. I actually grew my network and my business. A lot of it came through networking and negotiation, two probably the most important skills that anybody can have right now if they want to be an entrepreneur. Networking, negotiation is like super important if you want to climb what I would call like the invisible entrepreneurial ladder. So we all know what the corporate ladder is, but there's also a ladder in entrepreneurship where some people see you as the top and where connections just kind of happen for you. Obviously we'll get into how you can grow that in a little bit, but going back to my story, I honestly struggled a little bit inside the fitness industry. When I was getting started, I was maybe like a sophomore in college. So obviously full-time double major college student. And I was like, damn, I don't really want a job. I don't really want to go work for somebody else. And I actually attended a webinar by Neek Singal that was talking about affiliate marketing. And that was really I watched the whole thing. It must've been 90 minutes. And that was like my intro to online marketing. And I was so fascinated. I didn't buy it from the webinar, but I was so fascinated by what he was talking about that I researched a ton of stuff on digital marketing, online marketing. And I came across this guy, Rich Schefren, and this is the first product I ever bought online. It was Rich Schefren's, he was talking about something called the core concept. Rich Schefren is basically the OG of marketing online. He's one of the OGs of marketing online. He coached Russell Brunson. He coached Ryan Dice before they blew up. Before ClickFunnels, before Digital Marketer, he coached both of them. So funny story, I actually met him when I was at Agora like a month ago, and we're a lot closer now, which is super weird. But it was that moment when I decided, like, if you really learn how to use the online platform and sell, you can sell anything. It doesn't matter, whatever it is. Business in and of itself, I saw the big picture was nearly every business out there right now is marketing. Or the businesses that are successful are sales first or sales oriented or marketing oriented. And then they sell a product secondarily. So they find a good product, but all the successful businesses out there have a really strong marketing game plan or sales game plan. I think Gary Vee talked about how whatever your business is, if it's health, fitness, if it's no matter what you're selling, you're always a media first company. So what he says is you're a media first, and then secondarily, whatever your product, whatever you're selling as a product. So I found that like crazy interesting because I thought that all the power, like obviously chasing power, chasing money, chasing a better life. I realized that like if I want to build a skill set right now and avoid going to get a job, I need to learn how to market and how to sell, and negotiate and build a network. And fast forward a couple of years, I ended up moving back home with my parents for like 2 months after college. And within those 2 months, my mother was questioning whether or not why I didn't take a 6-figure job offer. I said no to it. Because obviously I had the degree in finance, got a really great offer, didn't take it because I knew I had been destined for more than that. And I just wanted life on my own terms. So I started sending out cold emails to influencers on how I could double their business. So I'd create these large emails, basically massive, right? Of 10, like, so basically I would analyze and audit their entire business strategy and tell them directly exactly what to do. And I'd send probably like 1 or 2 per day because they took so long. I'd literally go and audit their entire business, scrape their email, find it, send them an email. I did that for probably like 10 days. Within those 10 days, I probably sent like, honestly, like 20 or 30 influencers, like really in-depth audits. Ended up getting flown down to masterminds, getting connected with other very affluent people just from those emails. There are plenty of no's. There are plenty of people that didn't respond. But of the ones that did, my network grew quite significantly. I just literally found a way into the bubble. And I think for the people that are struggling to get traction, that was my in. And I think everybody has a story about like what broke the bubble, what was their in point, because I was obviously like mentally like a really strong person. There was a lot of people doubting me, my own like mother. There was a lot of doubt of friends, family, and it really was just like I just like decided to add value, and my network kind of blew up from there, and I was able to grow an agency from nothing to I think I hit 100K in 8 months from zero, with no network, no nothing, just cold emailing. I had multiple retainers at 3,000 a week at one point. And so like, you know, probably like, I think within 5 months I had 3 retainers at 3K a week. And that was like really big money because my parents didn't make that in a month combined. And I was doing that in less than a week. Like they probably made like half that in a month. So and they're probably the wealthiest in my family. So it's like a very odd thing for me, to have that all happen. So that's kind of my story. And honestly, there was a skill set that I had. Like I'm really good at writing. I'm really good at negotiating. I'm really good at knowing what people want and knowing how to give it to them. So that's kind of like the advantage that I had. I obviously went to college. I obviously had to write 10,000 word papers all the time. I went through business law and understood business really well. I was a finance major. So like I had a pretty decent background. But at the same time, you don't need all that. A lot of people can start from ground zero and nothing. And maybe not everybody listening to this podcast needs, but I think probably a lot of people, you need to get traction, consistent income. I can still traction. Like if you're making some good money every once in a while, that's not traction. That's that's frustration. But yeah, so if I were to be totally honest, that story and that background really helped me kind of grow from that point. And that was 2016. So that's, I graduated December. spent a year trying to grow a fitness company with, I didn't really learn how to pitch investors, which now I know how to do because I'm building a couple businesses that need investors. So, but yeah, I had no idea that I would need them. I had no idea a lot of things, like, and through struggle, obviously I found success. So that's kind of the background that I have in my story.
That's really phenomenal. I didn't know all those details, but I think the big lesson here for everybody watching, listening, is really this: just summarize it as in, outside of grit and go forwardness, and don't give up and be positive, or slug through whatever that person, or in this case you did. It's really give to gain, right?
Right.
So if you're looking to help somebody, do exactly that, and then you're going to win over time. Yeah.
Well, that some before, but I actually, never chased the money. I figured that, if I added a ton of value, eventually it would come back. It would come back to me, and it did. So
yeah, no, that's awesome.
That.
All right. So really sort of leading from there and into sort of more current day and right now, how are you, we talk about, raising product, services, customers, brands, there's a lot of talk about influencer marketing, obviously, all these buzzwords out there, but at the end of the day, the basics work just as well today as they did, way back in the, should I say late 1800s and the early 1900s, the principle of human psychology, the human nature, can you speak to that a little bit on how you approach it, sort of maybe philosophically a little bit at first? You kind of addressed it a little bit, and then how perhaps you might help somebody get more visibility and raise that brand or that position in the marketplace.
Yeah. So if we're speaking towards what I would like to call it, there's a couple of business models that have grown in interest in the last couple of years. Obviously, people have been interested in selling information for quite a long time now, especially with affiliate platforms like ClickBank. Yeah. And, there's plenty of people that are like, oh, I want to be the number one. Basically, that their business thrives off of them and who they are and how much people like them or how much they have to share. And with that comes another element, like info products, that is pretty necessary, and that's building what some people have heard of is know, like, trust. So you have to get them to know you, to like you, and to trust you before they buy. And I'm kind of a minimalist when it comes to business. I try to do the least amount to get the most amount out of it. So kind of like a do more with less. And all the strategies that I follow are not tactical in a sense, but they're all based on fundamentals of human behavior and what people want, and the tools and all of the things that what I consider is noise. If I can use those tools to better amplify the fundamentals, then I'll do that. Otherwise, as far as it interesting for the viewers and listeners, I have a 4-step process for everybody that is listening to follow if they are trying to build their know, like, trust, if they're trying to build authority, if they're trying to become the go-to in their niche. And it's all based around psychology and human behavior, because there's a lot. So really the 4 stages that the first stage is really built kind of funny. It has a lot of similarities to if you saw the movie Inception.
Yeah.
I call it, yeah. So they kind of like plant an idea in somebody's mind, and when you're a coach, consultant, or a personality brand, and you want to build your know, like, trust, the first step is really to kind of plant the seed, plant an idea, open the minds of the audience in the first place, because a lot of people have their walls up. there's a lot of skeptics and a lot of people that are selling BS online. So what I always say is the first step is really you have to open the minds of the audience. And the best way that I've seen that done is debunking false beliefs and also trying to explain somebody's problem better than they can themselves. That really does kind of open up the audience and the people to know who you are, right? And start to get them to a point where they want to trust you. The next phase that I have and that I deploy is called what I call an ideology. Some people have heard of what an ideology is, but basically an ideology will help people with one thing, perspective. So if you ever notice, some people are really good at content marketing, and it's not because necessarily they share tactical strategies or they share certain things, but it's because of two reasons. One, they offer perspective, and two, they I'm drawing a blank here. One, they offer perspective. I'll come back to the second one in a second. But they're basically offering perspective or a new concept or a new idea, and it helps your audience start to think how you think. This is where marketers talk about a big idea.
Right.
The ability to shift perception. Of an audience and make them believe the thing that you want them to believe. The other thing, so one is perception or perspective, and the second thing is being insightful. If you've seen really good content, what you'll realize is it's very insightful. And if you can be really insightful and show new perspective with your content, which is exactly what a big idea is, that's really taking them to the next level, where you're really warming up that audience. And then the third phase is
Sean, I was just going to ask on the big idea.
More people start.
I was just going to ask you on the big idea. Is that similar to or related to kind of the like we talk a lot about hooks and things like that? Oh, I was just going to say, is that similar to like the hook thinking, the big idea?
The big idea is a way to really shift belief, or it's the one thing that you need somebody to believe to buy something. We could do a whole interview around the big idea and like the 4 U's of a big idea. 80% of my time, if I'm writing sales copy or writing a sales letter, 80% of my time this is why I can't write too many at once, is because it's developing the big idea and the argument around it, and why it's so important and useful, unique, specific. So if that kind of answers your question, the big idea is that one thing that can build that you can build an entire marketing campaign or product around.
Right. Yeah, got it. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, if people really dialed that one in, that would make marketing a whole lot simpler for them.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so that's number 2, right?
Yeah, that one's number 2. That's the ideology. It's kind of like answering the what is this? Then the pattern that people have.
What was the third thing? Sorry, I missed it there.
Yourself, a way to differentiate yourself from everybody else.
It's
Methodology. It's what. But even if they do have a methodology, they aren't able. They're not very good at articulating or helping the customer visualize it. That's why if you're creating a methodology, it's really important to create visuals around it. So if you're building a webinar out and you don't have a methodology, realize that most webinars are built around a methodology. It's built around a process or a system or a formula, a method to get a result. And if you can actually create a visual around it, you can build an entire webinar around it, a really successful, high converting webinar just around the methodology. Because generally most people that are running webinars are not running it with being the first to market. They're not the first product out there that these people have seen. They're not the second product out there. They're of many products. There are many people promising the same thing, so they have to stand out, and that's where the methodology comes in, and where you teach your customers how to apply an idea to get what they desire most.
Got it. Yeah, exactly.
And then really if you can get them to follow all those steps, right? The first 3 steps. First, you just open their minds to accepting a shift in perception or a new perspective. So first opening their minds to a new perspective, and then sharing that perspective with one big idea, helping them get that aha moment, and then sharing how you get the desire that they want uniquely. And then finally, the last step is, okay, they've gone through all those things, but what's the next thought that they're going to have in their head? Well, why should I trust you? Why should all of what you told me over this period of time, now it could be 7 days, month, year, just a webinar. You can go through all of those in your content. You can have people in your group that have been watching your stuff for months. But after you take them through really all of those 3 stages, then the final step is just proof. To prove that your method is the only way to get the desire that they want to come true. And if you can do that, a lot of people share testimonials, case studies. They put guarantees, they add scarcity, but really the proof, there's a lot of elements of proof that you can use beyond your own. You can use proof with, third-party proof, as I would call it, which is like quoting a big undeniable authority, what I call Buddhas. Like if I was trying to sell a health offer, and I knew the audience looks up to Dr. Mercola or something, I would be quoting him. Just kind of in that. A lot of people struggle because they're like, oh well, I have no testimonials or I have no case studies. Case studies are actually really great ways to sell your stuff. Because they overcome the proof element while also sharing your methodology and shifting the perception of the audience. So if you really look at the really high converting sales letters or highest converting customer journeys or funnels or whatever, they all follow these 4 stages extremely well. And all the experts out there, Ty Lopez, all the gurus, Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone, James Altucher, all the people in the financial world, they all follow this formula. If you really look deeply and pick apart their overall media marketing message, you'll realize that they all do follow these 4 steps.
They do. I've seen it, and it's just, for many I know, and listeners here and folks watching is, you see it, but you don't fully understand how to put it together for yourself.
Right. And you don't need a whole lot of authority like the gurus have either. That you can build it over time, and it'll just make sales and marketing a whole lot easier, but you don't need it to start. I remember I had nothing. I had no authority, no website, no influence, nothing. And I cold emailed and still was able to build that business from 0 to 100K in 8 months. So
that's impressive. Well, that's very cool, man. That is very cool. In fact, I'm going to be sort of transcribing some of it into text also. There was some drop-offs here and there, but I got it all, so that's good. And one of the things that I think, folks are challenged with is, hey, now that I understand sort of the formula or the general approach, where can I go to learn more? We're going to get more information about where they can reach you, etc., in just a few moments here. But as sort of an intermediary, what are some of the books or resources that you might recommend? Like, hey, at least these 2 books or 3 books are must-have or must-do reading.
Breakthrough Advertising is probably the most. In there, you'll learn some of what I talk about with buyer awareness. I also haven't updated. So the Breakthrough Advertising was written quite a long time ago, and all are built on the fundamentals of human psychology. So those things will never change. But per se, the tools and the systems, when they're talking about direct mail and all those things, they don't really apply to the same tools and systems and advertising methods that we have available to us now. We can get a lot done with less than we did then. We have a lot more data to pull from. We have a lot more softwares. We have a lot more ways to automate. We have a lot easier ways to hire out. When in the past have we been able to go on a website and be able to hire somebody from a different country for way less than we would for people here, and like a modernized version of Breakthrough Advertising that might actually be really useful to the people listening right now. And everything that basically, if you wanted to hack in my brain and think of and hear all, maybe not quite all the thoughts that I have, but all the things that I use in my business and all the things that I do and all my methods and formulas and all the people that I interview, have that all in one group now that I just recently started, that has gotten some pretty awesome engagement and response since I started it less than a week ago. And it's all built on the idea and concept that you can do more or less, and making it simple so that life can be a lot easier and business can be a lot easier than what many of the gurus make it out to be. So I guess I kind of skipped a couple other books, but the biggest one I would say is Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. And then there's a couple other ones. Great Leads is another one that's really good by John Ford. Michael Masterson. He goes by a couple different names also, so who knows what it says on the book. But let's see. There's one other one that 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene is amazing. And one final one, because this one is a really big deal that really no marketers read but should. It's called The Tools of Argument, and it's how the best lawyers think, argue, and win. So why this is important is because if you can win arguments in marketing is basically a series of arguments, and if you can win arguments, you can sell anything. Gives you all the tools. If you had no marketing background, but you just knew how to win arguments, you would become a very good marketer in a very short period of time. You don't even have to become a good marketer. You could just want to build your brand and want to market it well, or have a really awesome product and you want people to buy it. If you can win arguments, that's really the key to making it big in business. So of all the books that I've ever read, I would say that's probably the big one, The Tools of Arguments, because it's based really on the fundamentals of the human brain and how to win arguments, and it's based on a lawyer's perspective. Okay,
well, that's some great books. In fact, that last one I never heard of. You're right, so I'm gonna get it for myself. But you're absolutely right. This idea that you can position yourself as an authority is not new, but how you do that and through some of these techniques and strategies you've outlined, and how you can essentially, win without trampling on people in sort of this argumentation and positioning. That has to be really a home run when that happens naturally, and sort of using this process. So Yeah, no, that's killer, man. And by the way, I'm going to link up that minimalist group as well, so people can access and join there. I think everybody should. And Sean, of course, has been doing this for not only a good while, but with some big time players. I know you and I also met through Jason Horning, and these are big time players. Who do you follow now in terms of sort of a leader in the space? And I'm not talking necessarily about internet marketing, but just in general that you enjoy watching sort of in internet land.
Right now I've been honestly just following what Agora is doing as of late, and I haven't really nailed down the person that I really want to follow for negotiation and such, but for buying, which is my next venture, really is buying and selling businesses. That's really my long-term play here. I'm leaning on some of partnerships that I've had. So basically, I now connected with Mr. Church here, which is like the founder of Suja. He's helped scale Suja. I don't think they sold 100% of the business, but and also Carl Allen, which basically he teaches people how to acquire and sell businesses without their own money. So when I'm following somebody, it's probably Carl. I love his stuff. It's like absolutely amazing. Rich Sheffrin, obviously, still follow his stuff. And I love our conversations together. And like what Agora, they built a $1.5 billion company in the info marketing space. Those are kind of like, I don't really consume that much information anymore. But when I do, those are kind of the people that I fall back on.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, some really great insights here, both from a sort of a strategic top level and then driving down into some detail and tactics. This has really been extraordinary, Sean. I know we've been trying to connect for a while, and we finally did. Let me see if we can turn the cameras back on here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Start cam. Do you? Oh yeah, there you are. Yeah, we're gonna edit this a little bit. It was a little choppy. We got all of it. So I really want to thank you. Any final words, Sean, before we depart?
Nope, that's it.
Oh man, awesome. Well, I'm gonna thank you all for watching, for listening. We're gonna come back at you with another podcast, of course, as we always do. And for all of you, have a great day, evening, or night. I'm going to close this out. And Sean, hang on. We'll have a brief talk here. Thank you.